Pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Opposed?
All right, pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting is given in the annual meeting notice, which was emailed to the record. News Herald, the Office of the County Clerk, posted on PCCC website and bulletin boards on November 28, 2023.
Thank you, Dr. Rose. Roll call, Stephanie.
Alumni Rep Buchanan.
Here.
Trustee Octor.
Here.
Trustee Drakeford.
Please, so
Trustee Glover.
Present.
Trustee Diogene.
Present.
Trustee Moody.
Present.
Trustee Nutter. Trustee Poe.
Here.
Trustee Ramirez.
present.
Trustee Smith.
Present.
Vice Chair Tanis.
Present.
Chairman Marco.
Thank you. First order of business resolution number 1, consideration of the minutes of the Board of Trustee meeting August 13th. Motion.
I'll move it.
Move it second. Okay. Roll.
Trustee Octor.
Yes.
Trustee Glover.
Yes.
Trustee Diogene. Yes. Trustee Moody.
Stay.
Trustee Poe.
Yes.
Trustee Ramirez.
Stay.
Trustee Smith.
Yes.
Vice Chair Tanis.
Abstain.
Chairman Marco.
Abstain. Okay.
All right, you ready?
We're all set.
All right. First, laptop upcycle.
Great, sure. Shall I come up there, Stan? Are you gonna put the presentation on? Presentation is very, very short. It's only 2 slides. So I just really like for people to be able to see the students if we don't actually bring them here on campus to talk with you all. But once we get our lab set up, we may invite students and invite you to interact so you can see the benefits of this program. So Laptop Upcycle is a 501c3 that exists in Montclair, New Jersey, in the old United Way building. It's not part of Montclair State, it's part of Montclair. And when I was at Ramapo, we brought a site location, an on-campus site location of Laptop Upcycle to the college. So when we got here, I thought, well, that would also work for our students here. So what exactly is, they solicit donations, of laptops, used laptops, that meet some minimum specifications. We do not want archaic ones that belong in museums. We want ones that we can actually fix, repair, refurbish, and then distribute to students free of charge.
6, 7 years old.
Yeah, 6, 7 years old, meet some minimum specifications. Brad's been very involved in this project too back there. So we do have some IT people weighing in because I'm a mathematician and I use a laptop, but I don't know how to open one up until I attended the training session. So the best part of this is not only are we going to help refurbish and donate and bring forward these laptops, which keeps them out of landfills and repurposes them, but we also are giving an opportunity to our students to participate in experiential learning. So we right now have just completed training for 5 students from PCCC. And there's some pictures there. That's the very, very first session of the laptop upcycle specialized training that I went to, and it was a couple Mondays ago. Those students and myself had never opened up a laptop. So they learned how to take the back off. They learned how to get in there. They learned how to identify the components in a laptop. So I learned what a ribbon cable is. I did not know that before. I learned how to pull the RAM out. You guys all know this stuff. Chris is laughing at me. And insert new RAM, but they all practice this. And then I came back 2 weeks later. You can go to the next page. And this is that. I don't know if you can see the growth and confidence from the first time. They were so tentative. They didn't, they were afraid to pull it too hard or push it too hard. And then all of a sudden, these kids are like actually fixing laptops. The gentleman in the green shirt in the middle, his name is Seven. He just graduated last semester from PCCC with a degree in computer information technology. And he was taking off the bevel which is the part that surrounds the screen, that he could replace the monitor there. And he successfully did that while I was watching him. He had no idea how to do that when I first met him, but then he was taking care of business next time I saw that. So I have some really good news. Good news is, as I mentioned, we have 5 people who just went through the training, and not all of them are computer science majors either, which is really interesting. We have one person who is doing an AAS in electronic engineering technology, that's Adonis. Got a full head full of hair. See him in that middle back picture way in the back? We've got Alexandra, Alex in the top there. She's a very serious student, but she is unbelievable. She's doing her CIS in network administration. We've got Brenda on the left in the black, in the top left. She's doing an AS in human services. So she's very interested in how the donations and the redistribution of these laptops are going to help our students. We've got Seven, as I said, the gentleman in the green shirt. He did his AAS in CIS network administration. And then we've got Will in the top right, and he is doing his AS in environmental sustainability. So he's very interested in keeping these laptops out of the landfill. So we're going to have some of these students go into the community and help us solicit donations. We're going to have some of the students repairing things, repairing donated laptops. And we're going to have some students who are going to kind of run the operation of the lab and help us understand exactly how to manage the lab. So I think everybody has something that they can contribute here, which is amazing. So we've got 5 trained students. That's the great news. I'll give you some other great news. This week, I found out we've doubled the number of donations. From 1 to 2. We doubled the number of donations. Okay, yes, it's 100% growth. So what we really desperately need is donations. So if you go to our website, pccc.edu/upcycle, you'll see the list of minimum specifications. There's a donation form there. And it would be amazing if you could use any of your professional contacts to try to help us solicit, corporations that will donate. I happen to direct the Reconnect program here. It's a grant-funded program at the college. One of my students who just graduated from the Reconnect program, she works for a healthcare company in New York. And she talked to her CEO and her CIO, and they said that we will be the destination of their donated laptops. I don't know how many, I don't know how big this place is, but you know what, we're gonna grow this. And we talked about it at convocation this year, and there was a lot of response, although people haven't filled out that form yet, so I gotta send them a reminder. If any of you have any laptops, we'd be happy to take them off your hands. By the way, very importantly, you'll see the flyer inside your packet. We do teach the students how to wipe all the data, okay, so they absolutely learn how to do that. They use state-of-the-art data deletion, right, exactly. They won't even look at it at all, they just come in and they do that, that's the first thing. So, and some of the donations we get, sometimes people are like hesitant to donate because they're like, I don't know if mine's in great shape. Yours may not be in great shape, but your monitor might be in great shape, or your keypad might be in great shape. We can harvest parts. So even if it's not working, we can still take it and we can harvest parts from it and reuse them and reallocate them to other pieces and Frankenstein together a working machine. So this is exciting. Any questions for me?
Yeah, do these students get credit for this?
Luckily, we have a grant at the college that supports experiential learning, and they have generously donated a $600 stipend per student. And that covers about 15 hours of training and observation, because Montclair's location, their lab has open lab Sundays. They mostly work with high school students. So our students go in there on Sunday just to see the operations, what's going on.
So they don't really have to pay, correct?
No. So our students will, they'll do the training first, and then they'll work for us, helping us set up a lab and helping us refurbish. I know Brad and I spoke about maybe having some of them work to re-image our laptops that we're gonna reallocate to other departments. Correct my language if I'm wrong.
You got it.
Do the best I can. So we will put them to work. So we right now have funding for at least the first 30 hours worth of each of these 5 students' work. In addition, we got a really nice seed money grant from Spencer Savings Bank of $4,000 that will allow us to buy some startup equipment, tools, etc. So we're underway. And I don't know, we might have, 10 this semester, but maybe next semester we'll have 50, and then the following semester we might have 150. I'm excited to see where we can go with this.
All right.
Then who gets the laptop once they're refurbished? Like,
Our students.
but how, is there like a
Process,
process?
yes, we have a whole subcommittee working on that part of it. We are not gonna probably open it up and just say apply for one. We're gonna probably do referrals from staff and faculty who know that they need a laptop. So it's a little more vetted, because I don't think we're ever gonna have a case, well, this would be an amazing problem to have, where our demand greatly, is less than our supply. I think it's gonna be the other way around.
Then it has to do, kind of laptop, it's a specific, brand of laptop you're taking or.
If you go on the website, there are minimum specifications. The one thing I will tell you is we're not eager to accept Mac machines. Because Mac machines are very hard to fix and they require soldering and other things like that, which we are not really equipped to do at this moment in time. We want to get it moving with non-Mac machines right now. And Chromebooks and things like that wouldn't be ideal for our students either. And the students do get to keep this for the rest of their lives. So it's not like, you know, we give it to them until they're done with their year and then pull it back. So it's a really nice way to help them get ahead. We have a number of students, we did a survey before we started this project. We had a number of students who said that they do their homework on their phone. They write their papers on the phone. Exactly.
Yep, right
Yeah,
there.
they write their papers on the
Yeah.
phone. Now, we do have a college success course here that students are required to take. And associated with that course, there's a course fee. I know you all approved course fees not too long ago. And that course fee is $550. And if a student doesn't opt out, what they get for that $550 is a laptop from our bookstore. But a lot of students who have financial aid, that's no issue. They get it covered, no problem, they get their laptop. But some of our students don't get financial aid or they can't afford to pay it. So then they may opt out. And this will help fill in the gaps there and for people who are not financially eligible.
Yeah.
So we'll see where we can go with this, but I figured if we do a few experiential learning at the very least, right? And then a few refurbished computers get redistributed, that would be amazing.
And every one of our students gets a license for Microsoft Office. For free. That's part of our arrangement with Microsoft. So, you know, they're not gonna have any trouble with the software for the machine. It's a good machine.
And we're also gonna have the technicians install Windows operating system on there, are already certified that, so they're going to have a really good computer that can take them through their, it's certainly better than using a phone number. So,
I would definitely hear that. However, you said this program is not there in.
no, it's not at Montclair State, it's a 501c3 called Laptop Upcycle and is located in Montclair, it's the city of Montclair.
Oh.
But they're not affiliated with Montclair State, no. But after the word got out, we did share this flyer at our gala in May? June? And the CIO from William Patterson came up to me afterward and she said, what's this laptop upcycle thing? I think we need one of those sites on our campus. So she's now asking them if she can set up an on-site campus student version of laptop upcycle. So we're at the front of this trend.
Good program.
I think it's great. I mean, I think it's really win-win and the students are learning. I couldn't believe how much growth there was in 2 weeks. Like it was surprising. Yes, that was very important.
Let's go to ask Steven to join you for the next part.
Sure, absolutely. And most importantly, though, if you go to the laptop, our website, pccc.edu/upcycle, you'll get more details. But if anybody has any questions, you of course can email me or put people in contact with me. If they want to make a giant donation, for example, I'll come pick it up. I'll rent a U-Haul.
So we just wanted to give you an update on the energy savings improvement plan, which you all approved. And we got one more thing to approve tonight on the agenda, but if you noticed when you walked in this room, most of the lights are new. And you probably noticed the lights are very different. You got a couple of the old ones, I don't know why. They probably didn't have that size or something, but they will be changed as well. Look at the difference of the light coming from the old ones to the new ones.
Yeah.
So it's, we'll give you a little update on what's going on.
I hope you don't have any hard questions on this one because Brian is not here. So I'll defer them to Stephen. And then Stephen will follow up with Brian if need be. But you already know about the goals of the ESIP program. There's 5 main goals. We're trying to reduce operating expenses, and that's not just money. That also includes, you know, efficiency, space, maintenance, energy. Energy is very important, sustainability. We're trying to fund necessary capital improvements and very important HVAC needs, especially this summer. I know we did a lot of HVAC work, which you'll see in a few minutes. We're trying to support the growth of enrollment in new in-demand programs such as the non-credit solar training certificate program. So Schneider, who is our partner in the ESIP, they have been involved in that. They've been working with Janet Albrecht in continuing ed, solar training certificate program. I believe they donated some solar panels and some other items. We're trying to reduce the college's carbon footprint because we all need to reduce every possible footprint that we can. We live on this earth, just struggling. And we want to improve the quality of campus facilities and the workplace environment. And I'll tell you, I agree with Dr. Rose. When you walk in the main entrance, it's like everything is like in high def now. It's so bright. It's really, really surprising to me, the change. So how are we going to do this? Well, you've already seen some of this, but we're restoring the LED lighting. So we're switching over everything, as Dr. Rose mentioned. Envelope and air sealing, we're trying to make sure that we are reducing the amount of air that's going in and out of the building unintentionally. And then also solar panels, and that's where we're getting most of the savings and the revenue. You can see the pictures of the solar panels. This is the design to put them on the various roofs. That's going to offset 37% of our annual electrical usage at the college. But when you look at specific campuses, which we'll look at in a few minutes, you'll see some different numbers. So we're going to be installing rooftop systems on 7 buildings, including parking canopies at the Wanacue campus and the Public Safety Academy. So Meredith Behrens, she said the best thing ever. Passaic County Community College may be red, but we are going green. So I wanted to share that quote. Give her credit for it. And then HVAC needs. What are we doing so far through the ESIP? We have replaced the boiler plant. Did we do that one yet? The boiler plant and the chiller? I don't know if we did those yet. Not yet. Those are in the ESIP though.
Trust me,
The new air conditioning for the gym though, I've been told that'll be ready by next graduation. That'll be really nice. Wanacue, the rooftop units and the split system replacement, and then the unitary HVAC replacement. So we're replacing 40 rooftop units. Some of those have been done, and split systems at 8 different facilities, including replacement of the 2 Hamilton Hall boilers, which were extremely old and I believe at end of life or nearing end of life.
Nearing end of life.
Yes, sure. I'm going to turn it over to Stephen to finish the presentation.
Just a few more slides. Again, all this is based on conserving energy. So here we're replacing windows, so we have a better control of temperature. We don't lose heat or AC. The electrical upgrades, as Susan mentioned, a lot of this stuff is the end of life. So the great thing about this program is the latest technology. Also, Dr. Rose likes to say that I love to hear. This is why we don't have deferred maintenance. We jump on it before, it becomes a serious issue. This is a piece I like. We're just getting so much value. It comes nice packaged here, but this is like a 2-year process. We started off with another vendor, President Brian Egan, General Counsel. We went through this through one vendor. We decided to take a closer look. We finally met with Spencer. We went over the numbers, over the legal language, and I mean, there's just so much value in this. The deal got better and better over time. So I'm saying it a little differently than the numbers have in here. So yes, the project does cost $2 million, but basically it's funding itself. So really, the way I look at this, we're getting like almost $44 million in value because the project's going to cover itself. On top of that, really, all the college is paying is just a small contribution of 3.7 out of capital. So we've already accounted for a lot of the projects to 5.9. That's chapter 12. These are things we're already going to do. As I said, the deal got better. We had an add-on, which is one of the reasons why you're going to talk about this later. We got the 2.4 for on-billing discount. So essentially half of that we're getting is free money. The other half is an interest-free loan. And then we started off with looking at about 10 years of finance. That was 7.9. Again, this project is going to cover the cost of life. And so it's just a great deal. Really savvy and great way to show good stewardship by the college. Again, these are things we don't have to worry about later. Deferred maintenance, and we're going to improve the students' experience in the classroom, consistent temperatures throughout, and reducing our carbon footprint. Here, these are some of the things that you've heard already. The lighting. We talked about the units. Susan mentioned units. That's one of the larger ones. That's the rooftop. The split units are those. They're still HVAC, but those are ones that are being assembled on top of the roof. Just a lot of cool things there. These are just a few examples of them. And Soon you'll see signage that talks about us reducing our footprint.
Went up
Reach out
today?
to us. So again, we want to remind students and everybody that this is the campus of our good stewardship. And I'll open it up to any questions.
Did anyone see the signs?
There was one when we came in at Ellison, went up, and the trustees should have seen it when they came in at Ellison. Yeah.
You see it on the way out?
Okay, yep, that's the sign, that's up.
Thank you.
All right, probably a good time, we'll go a little out of order, and Mike, you wanna talk about?
Yeah, sure. So, one of the numbers you saw, there was county PCCC bonds. There's a provision in the PCCC statute for part of the project costs to be paid through the county issuing refunding bonds, which means that we paid the debt service to the county for the cost of the bonds. And so in your packet is an agreement with the county obligating us to budget the savings in our budget, and then to allow the county, rather than give us our full allocation and have us take a check back to the county, they are going to just automatically deduct what they need for the debt service out of that, and then give us a net check.
I got a question, how's that gonna work? Does that mean when the board of school estimate meets, if they give us like, if the allotment is 3.5 million and 500,000 is this, they're gonna give us a net check for 3 million?
Correct.
But the budget, what they approve will still be 3%.
No, I understand,
And
and
it'll
that's
have
what,
the,
and
have
that's
the
what,
budget for them.
and in our budget, it's gonna look that way, correct?
Right, that's why I'm saying, yeah, Stevens would know better. He's the CFO.
Right, that's gonna how it's gonna,
Portfolio
like
for-
next year, if I was on the board, I would see that in the budget, correct?
If you see the gross amount that we.
Gross, that, the deduction and how much we're gonna get. Net.
I don't know if that'll be, I think what'll be in the budget is the county allocation to us. And what it's costing us as an income, right? And then their allocation to us. And then as an expense.
The interest, the
expense
it's a carrying charge.
is the principal and interest.
Right.
For the,
But what you're also going to see is a reduction in our energy costs at the college, which will
Theoretically, that's gonna
at
cover it,
least
right?
pay for that.
That's gonna cover this.
yes,
Yep.
that's the. math.
Yeah, so it's of no cost.
The only reason I was asking that question, if, I'm not saying it's gonna happen, if the county decided to cut, the amount they were giving us.
Right.
It wouldn't make any difference, it would, whatever that
It would still
number
take
was,
it off.
come off the top.
Correct.
So, and this agreement is the next to last piece of the puzzle. The last piece of the puzzle will be when they actually go out and price the bonds inside, which is supposed to happen early next month.
And we did go through local finance board last
Right.
week, and that was
Right.
approved.
Because, the reason why that had to happen was because after we had the ESIP already approved, our application to PSCG for engineered solutions, which is part of their energy savings program, finally got approved, which reduced our costs further. Because they're picking up, they're giving us an incentive under the engineered solutions program, and it's on bill repayment, which is what, over 5 years, David?
Yes.
Yeah. So that reduced the amount that we needed for the refund.
It is, and the really good news is, there's been in the last month, there's been a lot of work around campus. And it has not been terribly disruptive. These folks have been very good about coming in. They know, they understand it's an occupied building. And they've been really good about how they've done it.
Can they work during the winter? Is it gonna go on all?
Oh, yeah. This is. Yeah, it's about the next year to 18 months, this is gonna be constant.
The lights are low hanging fruit, it's a lot of work to replace every light, but they have a system, they have a plan.
But they really know what they're doing, which is
even better.
they really seem to know what they're doing.
So when they did my end of my floor, They started in my office before I got in the morning. By the time lunchtime, they had done the hallway. And they're cleaning up as they go. There's no mess. They're doing a really good job.
I just have two questions. So on, whereas the 12th paragraph, it's just a blank there, and not an amount.
Yes, because we don't know exactly how much it's going to be. And here's why.
Can we just put then to be determined there?
No, we can't do anything because it's going to get,
Blank?
before it gets signed, it's going to get filled in.
Oh, this is just like,
Okay.
okay,
So we know.
This gives us the authorization to sign.
got it, okay.
So we know we
That's fine.
need $7.8 million. But apparently, there are investors out there that want to get more than market rate interest on their coupons. That the coupon is an old-fashioned term for the semi-annual payment that they're going to get in terms of their interest payment, if we pay principal. They want a higher rate. Rate right now is 3.5%, 4%. They want 5%. So that means that if the bonds will sell over par. Par is the face value, so face value is 7.8 million. They'll sell for over par. And that's it, that added money is money to us. But we have to pay a higher interest rate. My understanding from speaking to the financial advisor is that the increased revenue from the sale of the bonds will exceed the higher amount of interest that will pay over the bonds.
Why is that? Because this doesn't seem to be that risky. You can see it if they're asking for a higher interest rate. Yeah, based on the risk, the riskier it is, the more interest
It's
you
what
get.
they want, what I gather, it's what they want in their portfolio.
Well, interest rates are probably gonna go down, so we're gonna offer this an attractive rate. So they wanna buy bonds now because they expect interest rates to go down.
No, that I understand, but you're talking about like 150 basis points at least or more. That's a
I don't know
lot,
if it's that good.
Yeah, we don't know.
It may only be, it may
That's a
only be
lot,
70, it may
right?
only be 75.
That's just asking for it.
Yes, because.
No, you know what I mean, I'm saying that, this seems like a very safe.
It's gonna go to market and, you
It
know,
is what it is, I get
it-
it.
and
Whatever it is, it's gonna go.
the market will determine where we are.
No, but, yeah, yeah, it's a little bit bizarre. I agree with you. But, I spoke to the financial advisor today, and she said, this happens a lot, and we fully expect it's gonna happen. Everybody, we're better off for it, so.
Okay. All right, last presentation is mine, and we're gonna. So. You've heard us talk about EAB before. EAB is more or less an education think tank in Washington. You know, they do great work, they do a tremendous amount of research. They're kind of the gold standard when it comes to, you know, planning. We are members of them, and you know, we get a lot of data from them, a lot of research, they're just really good partners on a lot of things. And one of the things they do every year is, and they don't only do community colleges, they do universities and everything else, but one of the things they do, something they call the state of the sector. And basically they do what's going on in higher education right now, and it's very anticipated by people because it really sets our agenda in terms of what to think about, the kind of planning that we need to do. You know, if they say it's gonna happen, it's more than just us thinking what's gonna happen. You know, a lot of people rely on them. So one of the things they do, they come up with this, you have a handout at your place, which is a part of their state of the sector. Right, I got invited down to Washington in July to see the full state of the sector, which is like a 3.5 hour presentation. They triple the size of this, where they really go through a lot. We had our opening convocation here for the faculty and staff a few weeks ago, and I invited them to come present the state of the sector here at the college. What they presented was even about double this. But I went through and pulled out some things I thought you would be interested in tonight. So that's I'm just gonna go through the shortened version of the state of the sector. So they've got 5 priorities that they feel are shaping higher education. We're just going to talk a little about each of them right now. Public perception of higher ed value, enrollment and demographics, sustainable business models, student readiness and well-being, and artificial intelligence. These are things they think should be on our radar right now and things we've got to think about. So in terms of public perception of higher education, the immediate challenges, universities hammered by culture wars and diminishing return on investment narratives. And a long-term threat is the anti-higher education echo chamber impacts campus morale. You've read it. People are questioning the value of a higher education. Not as much in the community colleges as elsewhere, but there's a lot of questioning, whether it's worth the investment. And you've got all this, if you can't read this, you got it by you. So caught up in the culture wars, affirmative action overturned, DEI bans across the US. When you go to national meetings and you've got people from other states, they're told you're not allowed to mention diversity on your campus. If you have a diversity program, they will defund you. The state of Florida, if you're a college in Florida and you have a diversity program, they will take money away from you if you have that on campus. Who would have thought that's, anti-woke legislation, funding cuts, state funding lands on two-year colleges, student loan forgiveness, put spotlight back on, all this talk, and obviously I think many people have been very pleased by the current administration's doing a lot to reduce the debt that some people have got themselves into for higher education, but it's also shined the light on, okay, we don't want to get into this kind of trouble, so people are more reluctant to take loans and therefore they're more reluctant to go to college. Higher ed value increasingly called into question. These are just some, magazines and publications. Was your degree really worth it? Wake up, higher education degree is on the decline. Recap, these are all headlines in papers. So you can see the headline does not always match the reality. And you can see on this chart, there's students are increasingly basing decisions on cost. The reality is low-cost options saw the greatest decline in enrollment from 2019 to 22. And you're going to see in a future chart. Regional universities, community colleges, enrollments have been going down even further. The elite colleges are doing okay. The very, very large universities are doing okay, but they're staying away from others at this point. College education equates to lifelong debt. The return on investment of a college degree is declining. Only prestigious selective universities provide value. That one, community colleges represent 46% of enrollment from low-income and middle-class students, while incurring only 14% of the cost, and accounting for 1/3 of the overall income mobility within these groups. All right, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck when you come to a community college. Getting that word out isn't easy, but that's what's going on right now. Here's a couple more, and you can read these. I'm not going to go through everything. The echo chamber's impact on enrollment decisions. Recent high school graduates are less likely to enroll in college. This is the college going rate of recent high school grads. 2016, it was 69.7%. 2019 down to 66%. In 2022, only 62% of high school graduates chose to go to college. That's a big change. Those are significant numbers. All right, so now we just go into enrollment a little. And that's what I was talking about before. Small elite colleges, large national colleges, large elite colleges, that's where the enrollment growth is. Small 2-year, large 2-year, we're down. And you can see this is from 2010 to 2021. This is what's happened over that period of time. And this is national data. Growth in fall 23, but the sector has a long way to go. Yes, we all saw the numbers started to come back a little, but you can see it's we're a long way from the top. Big change. High schoolers now account for 1 in 5 students at community colleges. So I think many of you knew I'm just over at the dedication of the new building up at PCCI for the John Curry Biotechnology Institute, which we just dedicated to that. And of course, we are a partner in this. And the idea is that every student who is enrolled in this high school is also enrolled here at the same time. And will get an associate's degree at the same time they're getting their high school. Well, here it is. Well, now high schools now account for 1 in 5 students at community colleges. In states like North Carolina, 60% of the students in the typical community college are high school students. Things are changing. I mean, it's a very, very big change over a very short period of time. This is a trend. You know, I will tell you that in higher education and community colleges, and including this one, we don't take that enrollment that seriously, as seriously as we do. Oh, we've got our traditional students who are here wanting to, get a degree and transfer. Oh, then we've got all these students in high school. You know, and Jackie is all over this all the time, that everything we do in the high school has to be just as good as what we do here. And we are following up on that, but that's a culture change for us. And it's, we don't have as much control of what goes on in the high school, but we've got to ensure that these students up at PCTI who are going to get a biotechnology degree from us have met every standard that our students here, if they were coming in, if they were 18 years old coming here, have to meet every one of those standards. Easier said than done, but we're going to do it, no doubt. I thought this was an incredibly interesting chart, and that's something that I think many of us have thought about. The world population could peak by 2055. Global population, and these are projections through 2100. They're showing that we're going to reach maximum population. We've all been used to constant growth. Everything is growth. But we're at a time where we're not going to be growing anymore. If the world population is declining and our US population is declining, it's going to be less people go to college. That's what we have to think about. United States, 15 to 19-year-old population estimates. This is the demographic cliff that we've all heard about. The decline from 2021 to 2032 is 6.3%, or 1.4 million less students who are going to be graduating from high school, or are going to be at an age group. That's a lot. Three times declines from 2041 to 2100 represent a reduction in the college-going population 3 times the size of the pandemic era enrollment losses. All right, you know how much we lost during the pandemic? Exactly. This is, so just to stop here for a minute. If you're a college, and what did you hear from me 20 years ago? Those who were at, oh, we're planning for growth, we're building new buildings, we're doing this and that. Well, I shouldn't be talking about that. I shouldn't be talking about that we're going to go from 5,000, 10,000 to 20,000 students. No, that's not what is going to happen. There's just nothing to lead.
Does that mean we're destined to downsize?
Yes,
For sure.
yeah.
Or find other pools of students quickly.
Here is specifically for New Jersey. Now, you can see from 2010 to 2022, New Jersey had no change. We lost 196 students statewide at that age group, okay? Pretty steady at that point. But projected from 2022 to 2035 is 7,840 students down, or 7% change. Sure, superintendent is.
Well, so our enrollment keeps going down. We were once 15,000, now we're at 12,000, so that impacts our budget as well, so,
And
I mean.
exactly.
It's an issue.
This is what's going on. And we could put our heads in the sand and ignore it. And when you hear colleges in trouble today, it's because they put their head in the sand and they've made the decision, okay, every other college is going to decline, but we're going to be the one that's going to grow. That's basically, and that's just not healthy. And you read the headlines of colleges in New Jersey that are suffering from this fate right now. All right, sustainable business models. Rising budget pressures lead colleges to pursue hosts of cost savings. Long-term threat, a less with less mentality may be needed. Okay, for years it was, okay, how can we do more with less? All right, doing more with less is not practical. It doesn't work. So we have to figure out how we're going to do less. And what we should stop doing and what we, and look, there's so many, years ago, our library used to be open, the college was open till 11 o'clock at night, our library was open till 11 o'clock at night. Well, we did a survey in the library, and we started looking every hour of the day, how many students were in the library. We did this over a semester, not over a week. We took a look at it over a long period of time. And we found out between 9 and 11 o'clock at night, there weren't a whole lot of students sitting in the library. Between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock in the morning, there weren't a whole lot of students sitting and using the library. Other times in the day, yes. Well, guess what? The library doesn't stay open all these hours anymore. We were able to do less, not hurting our students too much while doing less, but we've got to figure out how to do it. We used to have tutoring on campus, and there's good calls for us to bring it back constantly. We have tutors sitting on campus waiting for students to come into a room to get tutored. And they did a great job, tutors, but it was highly inefficient. There were hours where we had tutors sitting in a room and students didn't come in to get tutoring. So we've gone to this tutor.com where we have a service that has 24/7 tutoring where students, and we find that our students are using it more between 11 o'clock at night and 2 in the morning than almost any other time is when they're using it. It's not that this tutoring we were doing on campus was bad, it was good. But can we afford it? And we gotta find ways to do it. So, you start taking a look at this state funding for public two-year colleges, it's going down. Per student, the amount of money you have per student to spend going down. Average yearly increase in higher ed tuition, they have a higher ed inflation rate. And in 2022, that inflation rate is 5.2%. Okay, it was only 1.6% in 2013. So what are the things driving us? That's why we're doing this energy savings plan. We've got to find ways, to get around that. I'll tell you, years ago, some of you will remember when we had our board dinners, we used to have cans of soda out here instead of the water and the tea. I think we calculated by doing that for a lot of our college meetings, it saves like $10,000 a year here at the college by doing it this way rather than the individual cans of soda. Yeah, but again, those are the kind of things, they're small, but there's nothing that's gonna save us, $100,000, $200,000. It's saving $10,000 at a time. That's
really impressive, though.
And we came up with that, and it's worked okay.
I love it.
Yeah, There's a slide in here that they call canaries in the coal mine. You know, West Virginia University, $75 million deficit, approved plan to cut 28 programs and 143 staff. Rockland Community College, not far away, $3.4 million deficit. Layoffs, furloughs, and voluntary separations plan. You can see these are just some of the headlines of colleges that are in trouble. Obviously in New Jersey, you've all read about New Jersey City University and Bloomfield College last year, and there are many others you're going to be hearing about in the not so distant, William Patterson, and you're going to be hearing about many others in the not so distant future. Many campuses are poised to shrink in the coming years. They're saying 2030, we're going to, you know, you're going to see they're claiming, and this is of the community colleges, by 2030, you're going to have 703 colleges are going to see a 25% decline. 211 colleges, they're going to see a 50% decline. When you start going out to 2035, 863 colleges, 25% decline, 307 colleges, a 50% decline. By 2040, that's almost all the community colleges by 2040 they're talking about are all going to be in decline. 915 colleges by 2040, a 25% decline, 334, a 50% decline. This is what EAB is predicting right now. Now, yeah, will a few go up and a few go down a little more? Yes. But this is our future.
It's coming.
Yep. It's time to embrace a less with less mentality. And we have to have a less with less mentality, and we've already started it. I mean, that's something we've been doing here for a couple of years. This is not something new for us, but it is a change in the way you think. And it's not fair. People around here work very hard. It is not fair for us and you as the board to have an expectation that people are just going to constantly be able to do more with less. No, the reality is we're going to do less with less.
You try to use that at home.
Less with less. Wait to hear your report.
And they give a little definition of what in the 2020s less with less means. Intentionally decreasing productivity in favor of sustainable operations. Budget decisions must reflect market realities of enrollment and funding. Saying no is rewarded. Potentially better staff experience, work is scaled to a reasonable level.
What does that mean, saying no is rewarded?
It's like no overtime.
No.
Work is for work.
No, that we can't, we've got a mentality where, Jackie will ask, I'll blame her. She every day, Jackie holds court up in her conference room upstairs. And she basically, no, she tells everybody what they should be doing. And there's a couple of people who have started saying no to Jackie. Not often, but but the reality is we sit around and we talk about, is this realistic for us? Can we really do this? We can't do everything. And sometimes, even though it's something we want to do, we can't do it, and we're doing our.
No, I understand that, what I'm saying.
But it's
a reward for saying no?
No, reward is you're not gonna get criticized for it. If you're the type of employee who, right now, we value people who say yes all the time, and every time we ask you to do something, we were constantly asking Alex and Chris to do things around here, constantly. They
say no.
Alex has become the favorite of the county. So every time when the county has their commissioner meeting and they need somebody to run the sound system, Alex is now the favorite. If their own people are there, or if they go off site, if they're not in the building, they want to have Alex there, right?
Say they're alluding.
We will continue to say yes to the county, but we can't say yes to everybody.
I got it. I didn't know.
You know.
The reward part was.
That's that kind of stuff. Limited opportunity to grow your way out. Okay, and they've heard me talk about this for years here at the college. I will tell you that some of my colleagues, and I was at a meeting a Friday ago with my community college colleagues, and many of them are still believing, oh, we just got to get back to a point where we grow our enrollment 5% a year and everything will be fine. It's not going to happen. There's no reason to believe it's going to happen at this point. And the sooner we come to terms with that, the better off we are. Most of the colleges that are in trouble today, we did see huge enrollment increases 12, 15 years ago. In 2008, 2009, during the big recession that we had, all of higher education was growing in double digits. We were going up 10% a year here at college. Now, some of the same people who were here then are here now, and we resist. We had you saw huge surpluses every year. Money was coming in like crazy, and we didn't spend it. We didn't go and hire all these new people, hire another 200 faculty like some colleges did. Went and hired, all staffed up to a level of enrollment which we knew was not sustainable. We here understood it was not sustainable. We knew that. Our highest enrollment ever was 2012 here at the college. Some colleges made the mistake of staffing up and hiring all these new people that enrollment would never go down from that high level that they got into 2012. That was not a good strategic decision, and they've been hurting for it ever since, and they are certainly hurting today because of it. And yeah, when you throw COVID in, it just, and they can't dig out of it. And if they believe that they're going to grow their way out of it, it's not going to happen. When we do our budget, it's not, maybe we could be up 1%, maybe we could be up, 2, we're going to try. And you keep hearing us, we're adding new programs, we're doing welding now, we're doing surgical tech, we're doing these things because we can increase a little from those programs by starting some new things, getting into some new markets. Yes, but we're not going to do it teaching the same stuff we taught 10 years ago. That's not going to do it. So this is part of what we have to do. Student readiness and well-being. Academic and mental health struggles spiral post-COVID. All right. You go on any college campus, our students are suffering in ways that they never suffered before. The mental health issues, I'm sure you're seeing it in the high schools as well. Absenteeism in K-12 carries on to here. It's happening all. Students struggle academically as their mental health worsens. It's happening. It's everyone is seeing it. And that puts a lot of pressure on us. Anxiety and depression nearly doubles among students over the last decade. I'm not going to get into I don't know the reasons why. I'm not going to try and predict it, but it's happening. It is happening, and it's not deniable that it's happening. COVID-19 just made the situation worse. 42% of high school students reported feeling personally sad or hopeless in 2021, 1.5 times higher than 2011. This is what's going on. 45% of students who identified as LGBTQ+ seriously considered taking their own life in 2021. That's what we're up against. So when it comes to that we have to have more mental health counseling at the colleges, we have to tie our students better into the resources that are available in the community. That's what's going on today. Yep, exactly. But this is real. Pandemic worsened academic half of vicious cycle. K-12 unfinished learning has arrived on college campuses. You know, if I were in K-12, I don't know how you're gonna catch your students on. I don't think you are. You're gonna try,
Yes, we will.
but you're gonna try, but I don't know how you're gonna catch your students up. You know, especially, I don't know how, I know Patterson had 152 teacher vacancies beginning this year. I don't know what you had in
62.
you had 62 in a smaller district. If you're starting the school year, and it wasn't like they didn't try to hire them. It wasn't like they weren't budgeted. These are budgeted positions that they couldn't fill. Well, you have all you can do to just cover your classes. How are you gonna catch students up when that's happening? So guess what? When they come here, they're gonna be less prepared than they were before. And that's not gonna be just for a year or two. That's gonna affect the current, look, we all know how important preschool is, how. You know, the research has been, well, we had a whole generation of students now in 2020, 2021. Who didn't get the same preschool experience that students did before. These students are they gonna catch up? Well, that's, you know, that's 12 years from now. That these students are gonna hit here, and they're probably not gonna be as prepared for college as our students were before. And remember, it's not like the students were all that prepared before. So, you know, this is worse. These are real challenges that we have. Academic and mental unpreparedness are influencing students' decisions. You know, this is whether 22% of students who opted out of college in 2023 cited not mentally ready as their reason. 33% of high school counselors cited academic readiness as the top factor deterring their students from entering college. Students know they're not, they don't believe they're ready for college. They're probably right. But their decision not to go to college is being influenced by them not believing they're prepared. That is what's going on. It will get worse before it gets better. You know, gaps from unfinished K-12 learning will be felt for years to come, and you've got all kinds of charts here, and in this that gives you why that is. The breakdown of multiple measures assessment. This is interesting. One of the things, you know, it was 10 years ago they started telling us, look, your reliance on standardized tests to determine your initial placement of students. Determine your initial placement of students is you can't rely on. So what is happening is standardized test scores are down. You know, ACTs, SATs, the performance of students on those tests are down in the past few years. But guess what? Average high school GPA has increased since 2020. Okay, so grades are going up, grade inflation is going up, and scores are going down. What does that tell you? How do we figure out where the students are when they get here? We used to be able to look at a transcript and we'd be able to kind of figure out what math class a student should be in, what English class. It used to be years ago that Algebra 2 in every high school was pretty much the same. Now we are finding that Algebra 2 in one school district is not the same as Algebra 2 in another school district.
That's why AP classes are so important.
Exactly.
Across the nation.
Exactly. But this is what's going on. Last one, artificial intelligence. Real easy. I thought this was the greatest chart, one of the greatest things I ever seen. Okay, so how long did it take to get to 100 million users? So for the telephone, when the telephone was invented, it took 75 years to get to 100 million people using the telephone. For television, it took 38 years for 100 million people to start using television. For the internet, it took 8 years for 100 million people to start using the internet after the internet was invented. Facebook, it took 5 years for 100 million people to use Facebook. ChatGPT, it took 2 months for 100 million people to start using ChatGPT, which is an artificial intelligence program.
I never heard of it. Oh, to change your mind.
Okay.
But use Claude AI is much better.
Okay, but 2 months for 100 million people to use it. Took 75 years for the telephone. Alright, that just shows you, so what happened at places like this and all of higher education when all this artificial intelligence stuff, what did people start worrying about? They started worrying about how are students going to use it to cheat.
Right.
Right? And in the meetings I go to, they tell me if on your campus, if the main and it happened here, I'm not gonna tell you that it happened here, it happened here. The main conversation was we have to do policies to keep students from cheating. Okay, and they keep telling us, if that's what's going on your campus, go back to your campuses and change the conversation.
Right.
Because just like we have had students who we wouldn't think of turning out a student today who doesn't know how to use a computer, it doesn't know how to use Excel, it doesn't know how to use word processing, because nobody's gonna hire them. What jobs don't require that? Well, the jobs of tomorrow and today are gonna require using artificial intelligence in the job. So we've got to infuse artificial intelligence into our curriculum. We've got to make sure that when students graduate from here, they know how to use it, so when they get a job, the employer's gonna be happy with them, instead of worrying about students cheating. And AI's transformative opportunities, incorporating AI into the curriculum to match societal workplace changes. There's so much we can do, provide 24/7 personalized student support with one-stop conversational AI, supercharge faculty and staff productivity to pursue more strategic tasks. Jackie did a development day for her faculty right before classes started here, and the entire day was on artificial intelligence. We brought people in from other colleges who were a little ahead of us, and some students who talked about how and they were very excited. They were very excited, but this is retraining our faculty. This is changing the mentality. This is getting them to think differently. And, if we don't do this, and we don't have 10 years to do this, we don't have 5 years to do this. This is stuff that we've got, it used to be, we'll do a plan for it, and we'll plan, and we'll, we'll pilot it, and we'll do this, and then we'll do that, and it's gonna take, 5 years till we implement it. We don't have 5 years. We gotta
My
do.
concern is if the machines become too significant.
Well, you're right.
In a minute, these machines are gonna say, forget the human, they're gonna start making all the decisions, you're gonna be lost.
Well, but the question is, how do we stop it?
Turn them off. Become too significant.
And you'll take a look at this chart. This talks about, writers and actors on strike. And, the strike last year of writers, and how, part of it was over AI.
Yeah.
Rise of robot lawyers. Research finds nearly half of legal work could be automated.
Well,
Yeah,
near retirement.
yeah,
Well, ChatGPT was able to pass the bar.
yeah.
Yeah, that was sad.
Now it's oh, yeah.
It was able to pass the.
That was
Yeah.
sad for us talking about.
I think that's it.
That's it. Very interesting.
So I hope you found that interesting,
Very.
this is how,
Depressing but interesting.
yeah, absolutely depressing. No doubt, but this,
Reality
the folks who are sitting out here tonight, this is what's gotta be top of mind for all of us. And as, I can almost guarantee you the next strategic plan we bring to you You know, we brought you one about 3 years ago. The next strategic plan we bring to you is gonna look a lot different than the one we just had, because we've got to look at these things. I mean, you know, and again, we're not gonna stick our heads in the sand, and we're gonna do these things.
Just curious, in middle states, when they do their evaluations, are they now gonna start taking this into account?
Of course.
Urging colleges or criteria for downsizing in terms.
Well, look, what's gonna happen is, you know, you're gonna get in trouble pretty quickly. You know, if you don't do that. You know, the colleges, if you're not gonna do this 2-3 years from now, you're gonna be financially in trouble. And you're, and that's where middle states is gonna come say, okay, you know, you're not on a sustainable path right now. And then that's what their thought is, they don't, that we.
No, the reason I asked is that really did that come up during? the-
Sure, oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
No, because they see we're in good shape, that we have planned, you know, again, many colleges right now are in deep trouble because of decisions they made 10 years ago. You know, when you know, you'll see colleges that have laid off hundreds of people, you know, our friends up the hill at William Patterson. Had, you know, that's public, had to lay off a whole lot of people. New Jersey City University had to lay off a whole lot of people. Those were because of decisions they made 10 years ago.
That's also why middle
You know,
states,
we had, fortunately, we haven't laid off a single person. You know, because, and it is good planning on the part of this college community that allowed us to be where we are today. And, you know, when middle states came, they recognized that. They saw that we, you know, we had our act together, that, you know, we don't have our heads in the sand, you know, I may have said, one of my jobs is last year as a middle states commissioner, I had to visit a college which was in deep trouble. And, you know, they were already several steps toward losing, and they did lose their accreditation, and already, a college in Manhattan, in New York. And when I went to see them, and I was there for 2 days, and I had a lot of questions for them, and one of the questions was, you know, they were predicting a 13% increase. I'll never forget this, in enrollment for that fall. After 10 years of decline, this fall, they said they were gonna have a 13% increase. And I said, what is that based on? And it was a school that was religious-based school. They said, well, we're gonna pray on it. That's a direct quote. Okay, we're gonna pray on it. Okay, and look, prayer can't hurt, it's a good thing. But, you know, if you're going to base the future, you know, and remember what middle states was worried about was, can that college make it through the year? If students are going to enroll in September, you want to make sure that those students can stay in that college for the entire year, that they're not going to show up one day in November or February and the college is going to run out of money and the doors are going to be locked. Because that has happened around the country. And, you know, their answer was, we're gonna pray on it, you know, and they came up with that number because that's what they needed to balance the budget. If they didn't get a 13% increase in enrollment, they couldn't balance their budget.
it's also one of the reasons why middle states went to the annual institutional updates reporting. So now they preview everyone's financial information and everyone's enrollment and outcomes information every year, as opposed to waiting every 8 years until you're self-study and then finding, oh gosh, something went really wrong.
So I hope that was helpful.
Very good. So now I heard about the same story you just mentioned about the Lincoln. Look at students cheating. If I can remember where I heard.
Well, it was going on everywhere, so
Yeah.
it was pretty common, it was pretty common.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on to resolution number 3.
Yeah, yes, fine.
Okay, may I have a motion to adopt resolution number 3, consent resolution items as set forth in the memorandum dated September 17, 2024. Acceptance of grants awarded to the Cultural Affairs Department, purchase of goods and services, special recognition, and personal items. Have a motion? Okay. Second, okay. Roll call?
Trustee Actor,
Yes.
trustee Golden,
Yes.
trustee Diogene.
Yes.
Trustee Moody,
Yeah.
trustee Ramirez,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
vice chair Tanis,
Yes.
chairman Marco.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Stephanie. Mr. Rose, you're.
All right. So one of the things you just approved this evening was a recognition, a resolution commending Elijah, who was our alumni rep last year, and if you would come up. You're commending her for appreciation of her dedication and service as alumni rep to the Board of Trustees. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have resolution number 4, the energy savings obligation with funding bonds agreement, with the County of Passaic. We have a motion to adopt resolution number 4, the energy savings obligation with funding bonds agreement with the County of Passaic.
I'll move that.
Second, okay, roll.
Trustee Actor,
Yes.
trustee Golden,
Yes.
trustee Diogene,
Yes.
trustee Moody,
Yes.
trustee Ramirez,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
vice chair Tanis.
Yes.
Chairman Marco.
Yes. Okay, are there any remarks from the public? Are there any remarks from the trustees?
May I?
Oh, yeah, sure, go ahead.
I just want to give a heartfelt shout out to everyone that's responsible for the admission of students. I was in Little Falls it was in August. And maybe the second week in August, and there was a gentleman employed at the ShopRite. And I make it a habit of asking younger people, where are you in school? Where did you go to high school? And as it turns out, I looked at him, I said, where are you in school? He goes, oh, I just graduated from Clifton High. Well, are you going to go to college? He beamed from ear to ear. It was such a genuine, authentic smile. I'm like, well, where are you going? Passaic County Community College. And I'm like, well, you seem so happy. He said the process of applying and everyone that helped him through the process here on our campus, it was just so helpful. And I think he said he's going to major, or he desires to major in criminal justice. But I just wanted to say thank you to all of those that are a part of the admission process for our students. This young man, it was like a kindergartner getting ready to go to school for the first day. He could not wait to get here. So thank you again.
We will make sure we pass that along.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second, okay, roll.
Trustee Actor,
Yes.
trustee Golden,
Yes.
trustee Diogene.
Yes.
Trustee Moody,
Yes.
trustee Ramirez,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
vice chair Tanis.
Yes.
Chairman Marco.
Yes, okay, meeting's adjourned at 7:20.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Works.